Hey guys, welcome back to DressYourFaceLive.com. I am extra excited for this class. I know I always start my classes like that, like I'm so excited for this class, but I am really excited for this class because this is something that I usually only teach during the holidays, and I've just gotten so many requests from you guys lately, like more and more on every post I do. You're like, okay, when are we getting a cut crease class? So I decided to do it a little early this year, and I'm going to basically show you not just one, but two different ways to create the perfect cut crease. One way is going to be the long, professional, advanced way, which may take, maybe 3 times longer than the other way I'm gonna show you, but it does look pretty perfect. That's for those of you who want to spend a little bit more time pampering your brides, or those of you who just like to spend those extra minutes to perfect certain steps and really kind of pace yourselves in a slower pace. So for those of you who like to just kind of bang things out, especially for photo shoots and things like that where you have a tighter time crunch to work with, we have a second technique that I'm going to be showing you right after that first technique, which is going to cut your time into probably 1/3 or 1/4 of the time. It's super fast. You can still create a very sharp edge with this version. It is gonna look pretty much the same. No one really is gonna be able to detect the difference if you were to try one on one eye, one on the other like I did today. Like, no one could really see the difference. But if you really pay attention, you might be able to see certain little differences, but it's not gonna be obvious at all. So I definitely wanted to show you both today, and that's why I feel super excited to teach this class. So this is my model. She's gonna go ahead and give you her Instagram name in case you guys wanna follow her or tag her in any of the pictures you take of today's class. Feel free to hashtag DressYourFaceLive and tag DressYourFace
and me, Justgiddon. My Instagram name is justgiddon.god.w. Can I spell that for this?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I know my name's a little hard. JASKIRAN.KAUR.W.
Perfect. I also Snapchatted her, so if you guys are watching live, you'll see this on my Snapchat, and you can just screenshot and find her. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm just gonna jump right into this class. We already prepped her face. The face is done. Nothing crazy going on. It's just a soft, beautiful glam. And we're gonna focus a lot on the eyes. So today's class is gonna cover eyeshadow and lashes and liner and things like that, but mainly the 2 cut crease looks. So let's go ahead and zoom in all the way to her eyes. And I will explain to you guys every brush I'm using, every color I'm using, every brand I'm using, in case you guys want to write it down. But I just want you to know I'm not the pickiest when it comes to certain brands. There's certain things that I am picky about, but if you guys are on a budget and kind of growing your kit and don't want to spend so much, you can always find cheaper alternatives, but as long as your technique is on point, it should still work out pretty well for you. So I want you guys to pay more attention to the technique today rather than the products. But if you guys love the products, make sure you have a pen and paper handy so you can write those things down. All right. Look at those gorgeous eyes. Oh, they're so beautiful. All right. So I used this brush on her for her concealer already, but this is the Morphe 428 brush. This is the Morphe 428 brush. This is what it looks like. Basically, everything I'm gonna use is gonna be like right on her face, so you guys can screenshot it. And I'm gonna use that for her eyeshadow base now. I already used it for her concealer. So basically whatever's left on it, I don't mind putting that on her eyes as well. But the eyeshadow base is going to be this baby right here. This is the MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. I'll turn it around so in case you guys want to take a picture of it, you guys can do that. This is Soft Ochre Paint Pot. Yeah, go ahead and put your hair behind your ears and we shall get started. Beautiful. So I'm just going to apply a pretty healthy amount throughout her entire eyelid. I'm just gonna do this eye first, and what we're doing first is the longer version. I also wanted to let you guys know, I know a lot of you are new here, so I wanted to welcome you guys to your first live online class for those of you who just signed up. This is a huge deal because this is you taking charge of your desires and your goals and your dreams, whether you want to be a makeup artist or whether you're trying to just enhance the skills you already have, or whether you're just a makeup lover like most of us are and just want to get better at doing your own makeup. This is something that you're taking charge of and something that you're doing for yourself. So that's always something to be proud of. So that is the first step. And I also wanted to let you know, if you're new, this is how things work. You're gonna go onto Instagram, my page, and this is the post.
Next to my face.
This is the post that you're gonna ask your questions on. So you're gonna go down and go ahead and ask your Q&A questions below in the comment section. So after class, I'll go ahead and answer some of the popular questions in there. If you guys are having trouble, feel free to email info@dressyourfacelive.com so they can help you out. But you guys should be good now. Some of you are asking about an echo. Not sure what the echo is all about, but we do record these classes, and the reason why you may hear an echo is because I do have a mic on, and when you replay it, it should actually be perfect, but I don't think there should be an echo right now. So if there is, let me know in the comments, but we should be good to go. Okay, so eyeshadow base is on already. The very first step that I like to do once the base is on is I like to go in with a flat eyeshadow brush. This one is the MAC 239 brush. MAC 239 is just a flat little paddle brush. And we're gonna start off with this palette. This is the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. The color we're gonna use is this top one here. This is called Tempera, right up there. It is a matte off-white eyeshadow. So any matte off-white eyeshadow should do the trick. And I want you to pay attention to the technique. I'm just pressing it in under the brow bone and sliding across. And I do like it to be really full coverage like this. I don't like anything too blended, and you're gonna learn in this class and all my other classes that I'm not a big blender. I like to layer product rather than blend it. So you'll kind of figure that out shortly. So the next thing that I like to do is create the cut crease. So what we're going to do, this is gonna, remember, this is the advanced, hard, long step eye, okay? We're gonna make it a lot quicker and do a lot of shortcuts on this one. So this is the longer one for you guys to deal with right now. So the first thing that I'm going to do for the actual cut crease is I'm gonna take an angled brush, or any small brush would do. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna use the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow brush. This is just an angled brow brush with a spoolie at the end. Ignore the spoolie. We're just gonna use a little thing like this. And I'm going to dip it into a dark brown gel liner. This is Dip Down by MAC. This is a dark brown gel liner. So I'm gonna scoop up a little bit of color, and I'm gonna use my hand to sharpen the brush because I don't want so much gunk on the brush either. And she's actually going to look straight ahead, and while she's with her eyes open, I'm just gonna lightly mark the edges of her eye curve. Just ever so lightly. I'm just kind of marking it. Now she can close her eyes. And I've already made my mark, so at this point, I'm going to spread her skin because now I can't mess up. I've already made my mark of where it goes, right? So I'm spreading the skin, and I'm going to make this line really bold. I'm following my marking, and I'm trusting my marks. And I'm gonna let it float right out. Okay, so this is just a smooth line. There we go. 1 second, please. I'm just checking to make sure you guys are doing okay. I'm checking the comments on my Instagram page just to make sure everyone is good. And I'll give it to my team to go ahead and answer here. I think Live Glam is already taken care of. All right, cool. So, are we on the same page? We're good. We have now created this line, which is pretty bold. And the reason why I had her have her eyes open for this is because I really wanted to make sure I'm not going too high or too low with it. Sometimes when my clients have their eyes closed, depending on how much loose skin is on their eyelid, if you just draw it freehand without knowing exactly how it looks with the eyes open, when they do open their eyes, sometimes the skin will move and it's either too low or too high or it looks way off. So I do prefer that the eyes stay open for this, and then I can go in and make any adjustments as needed as I'm seeing what's going on here. So that is why I do it the way I do it. So I'm just gonna thicken up this line a little bit because I do want to use some of this product to start building the blend of the cut crease. Okay, so now that we drew this really cool line and it fits her eye shape really well, go ahead and open your eyes and we can show them how it fits your eye really nicely. Now that that's there, we're gonna go into a small eyeshadow brush. It's going to be, let's see which one we're gonna use. I think we should we'll use this one. This is the 212 by MAC, 212. It's just a flat shader right here. So I'm going to dip into a really dark brown eyeshadow. And that color is going to be Cypress Umber from the same Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. So I'm going to use this super, super dark brown. And I'm now going to set this gel eyeliner first. So we're just setting it. And now, upside down, I'm gonna start pulling it. So I'm gonna turn you maybe a little bit this way so they can see the side of my hand like this. There we go. So you're gonna pull upward. I'm holding the brush upside down so I can pull upward. And it's very important that you guys understand why I'm holding the brush upside down. Reason why is because when you're pulling it upward, it creates a beautiful fade and that line starts to disappear. If you hold it this way, you're only creating stronger and stronger lines. So if you want it to look blended, you need to do it upside down. Again, upside down, blending upward is what's really going to help that blend. Just like that. Okay, now that that's done, we can go into a small blending brush. This is the Morphe 411 brush, Morphe 411. And we're gonna go into a lighter color called Burnt Orange. This one right over here, Burnt Orange. And that's gonna be a transition shade. You can actually do this with any other color too. You could use a soft pink, you could use, you know, a taupe. Whatever you want to use is fine as long as it's a color that's lighter than that dark brown. So I'm just going in and I'm applying it right in between the dark color and her brow highlight. Okay? Also keep in mind the way I create the cut crease. Basically, the line starts to kind of disappear in here and it goes thinner out here, but the middle of the line is pretty thick. And that's where most of that drama is gonna be. I don't want too much drama in the outside or on the inside. And now I can go back to my flat brush. There's gonna be a little bit of a back and forth action here. I'm going back to my flat brush And I'm gonna overlap a little bit that darker brown color into that lighter tan shade. And I still have that other brush on hand, so I can just blend that top. Do not blend the brown underneath. That dark line at that base, do not blend that. That needs to stay sharp and it needs to be very saturated. If you start blending it, it turns into this weird grayish color and it'll just kind of create a little bit of a mess. So don't even blend that. Only add a transition shade in between, right in there, to blend that upper part of the cut crease, not the lower part. So now that the upper part of the cut crease is perfectly blended, everything's looking nice, I can go in and I can sharpen up the lower edge of the cut crease with a black eyeshadow. So I'm going into the Tamana palette, the Noir color right here. This is also Anastasia Beverly Hills. You can buy it by itself too. And I'm going into Noir, which is the blackest black you can find in the market. Spread the eye skin, because if you don't, you might get black all over her eyelids. So you gotta spread the skin a little bit and very carefully chisel the black right into the base of her cut crease. And then fade it ever so softly to overlap just with the smallest little amount on the bottom. You see what I just did? So we darkened up that base. If you feel like you overlap too much and now the whole thing looks black, you can always go back into your blending brush and just very softly rub over it so you don't see any crazy lines or anything. But that just makes it a little bit more dramatic and sultry at this point. Okay? Now that that's done, we're going to go in and fill in the entire eyelid space with a metallic goldish type of shade. So I'm gonna go back into the flat eyeshadow brush from MAC, and I'm going to dip into, let's see what I'm gonna use. There's so many options, you guys. If you don't have palettes, or if you don't prefer palettes and you have a bunch of colors from MAC, for example, there's this color here called All That Glitters. It's like a peachy gold, and that's the color that we can use for the eyelid. Now, as far as choosing other colors, let's say if someone wants any other shade, as long as it's a color that's very different from the cut crease, we're good to go. Close your eyes. So I'm gonna spread the skin and see where there's like a smudgy right there. I'm just gonna go right in and chisel any little mistakes I've made. And it covers it right up. Again, this color is called All That Glitters. The technique that I'm using right now is called the press and slide. It is something that I created years and years ago, and we started naming it on DYFL a couple years ago when, you know, I usually don't name my techniques, but ever since I started teaching online, it does make life a little easier if I name them, because then all my students can be on the same page. And the reason why it's called the press and slide is because you literally want to press the product into the skin and slide it across or slide it down. And that way the product looks like it's almost a cream and it sticks to them so beautifully. You could do this on yourself too, and it does not fall out. If you're just tapping product, tap, 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 you're gonna get dust fallout everywhere, and it's not gonna look creamy and smooth like this does. Look at how amazing that looks. Go ahead and open your eyes, and you can see, even when the eyes are open, a very sharp, distinct, sexy, beautiful cut crease. There's nothing wrong with this cut crease. It is just perfection. So at this point, we are ready to complete the eye with eyeliner, and then we're gonna kind of smoke it out a little bit and then add a little glitter. So to complete the eyeliner, I'm just gonna go right in to the Anastasia Beverly Hills waterproof eye pencil in Dark Side. This is the waterproof eye pencil in Dark Side. And we do a little cleaning first. Make sure the tip is completely fresh for her. And go ahead and look up to the ceiling. And we are gonna fill in the entire waterline with this color. And I'm also gonna bleed it over the edge of her lash line. Okay? Now that that's done, I'm going back with my 212 brush with the black eyeshadow and look up to the ceiling. I'm going to set it with black eyeshadow. This is the Noir eyeshadow from Anastasia. And I'm also going to smudge that lower lash line. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna make it even more waterproof because I'm setting it. And the smudging softens up the overall look so it looks like a smokier effect and it doesn't look as sharp and crazy looking. It just looks more sultry and sexy. Beautiful. The next thing I'm gonna do underneath the eyes, I'm gonna go into my Sigma pencil brush. This is a Sigma pencil brush with brown eyeshadow. And go ahead and look up to the ceiling. We're just going to blend that lower edge of the black. And that's just gonna soften up the black. It's gonna warm it up. It's with the same dark brown eyeshadow that we used in the cut crease. And it really just kind of makes it sultry and softer, but without removing any drama. Gorgeous. I love it. And now the last thing we need to do is the top eyeliner before we go into the glitter and the lashes. So I'm going to go into the Tarte Double Take Felt Tip Liquid Liner. You can actually sanitize this using a spray. I usually use my brush cleaner spray because there's alcohol in it, but you could actually use alcohol too, and that would work as well. Close your eyes. And we're just going to create a nice smooth eyeliner. If you guys need help creating the perfect eyeliner looks, I do have a class up right now on dressyourfacelive.com on the home page. All you have to do is log in and press on access tutorials, and there's an entire class only dedicated to different types of eyeliner and how to perfect it. So that class is up and you guys can get a much more in-depth look at eyeliner. Basically, I like to just drag it across and then I use the tip to create a wing right at the end, and I connect it straight into the liner, the rest of the liner. I also like to use my nail to extend that tip and make it look a little sharper. And it just kind of looks, you know, very fierce, I would say. So yeah, look at that, look at the difference, you know? Cut crease makes the eye, first of all, super huge, like to another level, it's insane. And on top of that, it just ends up looking very exotic. And I think that's really pretty. So now all we have to do is curl the lashes. Go ahead and look down. We're just gonna do a little bit of a curling here. She already has a little mascara on, so all I'm gonna do is to clean up her mascara from the eyeshadow fallout by using the same felt tip pen and dragging it back and forth so that the color just covers up the pigment that has fallen on her lashes. Just a little trick. And that way you're not risking applying too much mascara onto the lashes and destroying the look. Okay, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and pop on some false lashes and the glitter. So you have a couple options for the glitter. We can either fill in the entire lid space with glitter, or we can just do lines. So I'm just gonna fill in the entire lid space with it. And I'm actually gonna use Makeup Forever glitter. I'm gonna use loose glitter for this. This is Makeup Forever glitter in number 11. I know I haven't showed you like loose glitter in a really long time, so this is how we're gonna do the loose glitter. I am going to dip a brush. Let me see if I have, yeah. Here it is. This is liquid sugar from Eye Candy. Morphe Brushes has this. And you can use my code DYF for a discount. So Eye Candy makes this liquid sugar. It is basically a liquid that you would mix with glitter to create a liquid liner. And what I like to do is pour a little bit of this solution into the cap. And I like to dip a brush. It actually comes with a brush, this little thing. I like to saturate the brush in this liquid. And then I dip the brush in the glitter. So I put the glitter in this cap. I dip the brush right in, tap, tap. And then now she can close her eyes, and you have to tell your model that they cannot open their eyes for a very long time. Oh. So this is gonna be your nap time. And I'm just going to spread this beautiful glitter right on your eye. So instead of using the eyeshadow base, the glitter base first, and then using the glitter over it, I'm actually pre-mixing all of this so that the glitter does not fall all over the place. It spreads like a liquid liner, and it looks absolutely stunning. So remember, when you're working with the glitter, try not to touch the eyeliner, try not to get near any of the areas of the cut crease, because it could mess it up. So just try to spread it in areas that are more empty first, and then you can go up to the cut crease, but do not cover the cut crease. Be very careful on those areas. Do you see that beautiful glitter? It's so gorgeous. Okay. Let's see here. So remember, small amounts, spread it evenly. Make sure there's no major chunks, because if there are, it's going to take a lot longer to dry. Okay. For those of you who are probably asking, in what cases do you use a loose glitter, and in what cases do you use a glitter that's already pre-mixed, like the glitter liners that are already made? I base it on how dramatic my client wants the glitter to look. If my client is looking for literally a sheet of glitter that looks like this, like it literally looks like a disco ball on her eye, if they're looking for this, then I'll go ahead and use a loose glitter. And that also, if we have enough time. If we don't have a whole lot of time in the appointment, depending on, any delays or whatever it is, the bride schedule really, then I'll go ahead and just double up on the liquid glitter liner that I have from Urban Decay. I'll just do a layer, wait for it to dry, and then I do another layer so it looks thicker. But for those of you who may have the time and have that type of bride or client that wants like literally a sheet of glitter on her eye, then do it this way, and it will come out literally glistening like a disco ball. It's amazing. So at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and put on some false lashes on her while this dries, and then by the time the glue dries, then the glitter should have been dry by now, and then we can have her open her eyes, and you can take pictures of what the eyes look like. Okay, we're just gonna give her a minute to dry up, and I'm gonna grab the lashes. So I'm going to use the individual House of Lashes, these ones here. These are the Le Petit doubles. They're double thickness as the normal individual lashes are. So we're gonna use these on her today. And I'm also gonna use the House of Lashes glue for it, which is just a brush on glue right here. So I'm gonna apply some of this brush on glue right onto the back of my hand and, whoopsie, right there. And I'm just gonna literally dip each individual lash into that glue and then apply it on her. So I'm gonna start off with the longer pieces on the bottom. I'm gonna dip into the glue, and I'm gonna start with the center of her eyes. So I'm just gonna put a few across the whole center. It creates such a nice custom look. I'm really into these. And now I'm gonna change it to the medium size. As we go more inward. And then the last one, right in the inner corner, is going to be one of these little baby ones. And as I go outward, I'm going to stick to the longer ones. And now we just wait for them to dry. This is the part that takes forever, you guys. Oh my gosh. So usually if this is your client and now you're just waiting for it to dry, I usually fan it, or I'll go ahead and complete the rest of the face, complete the lips, or do something else. Maybe put a little bit of makeup on the neck and the chest area, or do the body makeup if needed, if they need to cover up anything on their back or whatever. I go ahead and do those things while this is all drying, especially the glitter. The glitter does take quite a while to dry. So we're just gonna fan it. Okay, when I do this, okay, so by the way, you guys, this is a question that I want you guys to pay attention to, because this is usually what I ask my clients before I allow them to open up their eyes. So I'm just gonna ask you right now, while I'm fanning, does anything on your eyes feel cold?
Not anymore.
Oh, good. That means
Starting
it
to
is
dry.
pretty dry. So before I actually let her open, I double check that by lightly pressing on the glitter and seeing how much glitter transfers back onto my finger, which is actually like almost nothing. This glitter was already on my finger before. So I'm gonna let you slowly open your eyes. Kind of look a little low while you're opening. Ooh. All right, the glue still hasn't dried. You can still see a little bit of that glue, but this is the finished cut crease of the long version. So this is like the 20-minute version where it's like, oh my God, why is it taking so long? Imagine having to do both eyes. Doing both eyes actually doesn't mean double the time, because you're actually doing the same step twice instead of waiting for the whole eye to be finished and dry before going on to the next one. That's not how you would do it. You would actually go boom, 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 and it's not gonna be double the time. It's probably just gonna add maybe 10 minutes to it, and that's about it. Okay, I hope you guys learned what to do with a more, advanced cut crease. Go ahead and look down And you can see a little bit more there. If you guys are impatient like I am, I usually just go ahead and color right over the glue. Just to hide that as much as possible. Okay. Stunning. All right, cool. So now that you guys have learned the hard way, let's blow your mind a little more and learn the super, super fast, easy cheating method that I like to call it, the shortcut of how to do the same type of look, just a quicker version. The only thing that's gonna look different is the glitter, because we're not gonna be using the Makeup Forever glitter, we're going to be using the Urban Decay glitter, which is just a slightly lighter color, but it shouldn't look too different on camera actually. Maybe you won't even notice a difference, who knows, let's see. So again, the first step is going to be the eyeshadow base. So we're gonna go ahead and do that with the same color, soft ochre. Go ahead and close your eyes. And I am gonna turn you actually a little bit to a 45-degree angle for this one. Yeah, there we go. So I'm not covering her face with my hair. All right. So now that the eyeshadow base is on, if you guys remember the second step, it is to fill in her underbrow highlight with that light matte shade from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. Okay. So here's where things are different from the previous. This is when I go ahead and start working the crease before I even make that cut. So instead of drawing that line with the brown eyeliner, I'm actually just gonna go right in to a small blending brush. This is the Morphe 507 brush, Morphe 507. And I'm gonna dip right into a dark brown, the same one that we use on the other side, Cypress Umber. She's gonna open her eyes, and I'm gonna follow that circle that we followed before, but this time with eyeshadow instead of eyeliner. Okay, so now I made my mark, and now I get to go a little heavier with it. So close your eyes, I'm gonna spread that skin, and I'm going to darken up my mark with the eyeshadow. I'm also gonna kind of blend that shadow upward a little bit so it fades up. Now I'm gonna go back into that blending brush that we used before. This is the Morphe 411, and I'm going into a lighter shade, which is that burnt orange color that we used in the crease for the transition. And I'm gonna apply that right in between that dark brown and the brow color. If you wanna do a couple layers, feel free. It's up to you, however much you want to use. And now I can go back into my flat 212 brush, dip into the Noir eyeshadow, that's the black, and I'm going to chisel in the cut crease. I'm going to let it float a little bit, and I'm going to push it up slightly to blend with that dark brown. This way of doing it will cause a little bit of fallout, so as soon as you see that fallout, go ahead and flick it right off. Don't give it a chance to settle into her skin. See how quick that was? Like a 2-second cut crease. It's not as sharp yet, but just wait and see. If I want to darken it up, you can always do a back and forth type of situation where I'm adding a little bit more black, and then I want to go in and add a little bit more brown, and so on and so forth until I'm like really happy with the overall effect that it's giving me. Go back with the black, overlap it with the brown, I like to keep all the brushes in my hand so I could just kind of flick back and forth and have everything just ready to go. So once I'm happy with that transition, I'm going to clean up underneath. Okay, and now we can actually chisel out that cut crease a little bit further. So I'm going back in with that flat eyeshadow brush from MAC, and I'm gonna go back into that same color, all that glitters from MAC, take a good amount, and now we're gonna spread the skin, and I'm gonna hide the parts that smudged. Check that out. You see how sharp that looks all of a sudden? And we did not even have to use that eyeliner step. So just be really sharp with your the smudge removal. You're doing the press and slide. And the brush does matter. The sharper the brush, the sharper your cut crease is going to be. So if you're using a fluffy brush, it's not going to work. You have to use a sharp brush like this, or even better, a sharp concealer brush. That's gonna give you even more precision with your color. And we'll press and slide all the way down. I'll just do one more layer of this. There we go. And how long did that take us? A couple minutes. And it looks super sharp, super sexy, super beautiful. We didn't waste too much time blending. We just kind of added color over color. We did a lot of overlapping and layering. So it looks super dark to a medium, to a light, to a really light. And it just kind of all fades together and it looks flawless. If anything does not look flawless and is looking chunky to you, go in with a small pencil brush with whatever color it is that's above it. So let's say my brown was looking chunky. I go into that orangey color and kind of just very lightly, like a feather, swoosh back and forth with that brush, and it will smooth out the areas that you feel got a little chunky or weird or not smooth enough. So now I'm going to go ahead and do the liner. Remember, the glitter is one of the last steps, so that's not something we do in the beginning. I do the liner first because if you do the glitter first and then the liner is gonna come out chunky because it's gonna be kind of bleeding in between the glitter, so you don't want that to happen. So again, go ahead and look up to the ceiling. We're gonna do your whole waterline and we're gonna bleed the color over your lash line. This is the black Anastasia pencil. It's waterproof and it's amazing. And look up to the ceiling again. We're gonna add the black Anastasia eyeshadow, which is called Noir. And I'm gonna use it to smudge the bottom as well. And I am going to extend that smudging. Look how I'm holding the brush, by the way. My brush is literally flat up against her lower lid, so it smudges more smooth for me. And now I'm going in with the pencil brush, in with a dark brown. Go ahead and look up again. This is the dark brown eyeshadow. If anything has fallen, go ahead and flick it right off. You don't want it to stay on her. And we're just gonna soften up that lower edge. Beautiful. Check that out. Nice and smoky. Not spending too much time. It's just really about not being afraid to get in with a lot of color and get really thick with it, because honestly, if you're gonna go really thin with this color underneath, I'm talking about the smokiness, it's gonna end up looking really tight around the eye. I'm just gonna add a little powder here. And it's gonna end up making the eyes look smaller. So if you want the eyes to look bigger, but you still wanna use dark colors, you have to smoke it out a lot. All right, let's do the eyeliner now. Go ahead and close your eyes. I'm using the pen literally flat up against her lash line. I'm stretching the skin so I don't get on any of the folds. I'm gonna color over her mascara, her previous mascara, so that the eyeshadow doesn't show on her lashes. And I'm creating the wing. Making sure that tip is really skinny. And we're just gonna let that kind of air dry a little bit. You can kind of open your eyes if you'd like, a little bit. Okay, I think we're good there. Cool. Now, I'm gonna curl her lashes just to make sure it matches the other side. Go ahead and look down. Alrighty. And now we can apply the glitter. This is gonna be the glitter that we're gonna use for the fast eye. This is going to basically be already pre-mixed. This is Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner. The color is called Midnight Cowboy. That's their only gold. So if you just walk in and look for their gold one, it's gonna be this one. Go ahead and close your eyes. This is gonna be your nap time again. And we're literally just spreading it all the way across her eyes. But keep in mind, it is going to take several layers for it to look like the other side. So we're gonna do one really thick layer first, and then wait for it to kind of just dry a little bit, and then we can slap on one more layer right over it. Most of my brides do opt for this eye only because it is a little bit more comfortable. Sometimes when you put too much glitter on, especially with this eye, see how thick it is a little bit harder for your clients to open their eyes all the way, especially if it's a reception and it's the end of the night, they're already sleepy. It's gonna add quite a bit of weight to their eye. When you're doing a thinner formula, a finer glitter that's already pre-mixed like this, chances of it chunking up is slim to none. And you're actually going to notice that it's a little bit more lightweight and much more comfortable on the eyes. You almost don't even feel it. If a little bit like gets on her eyeliner, don't worry. With this one, it's a little easier to cover, like right there. And see how pretty that looks? That's just one layer. And we will wait a minute for this to dry before we put on one more layer over it. But yeah, actually it doesn't look too different between the two looks. Wow, pretty cool. In person, I can notice, so here's a second layer that I'm doing now. In person, I can notice the Urban Decay one, this one here, is a little bit more of a white gold, like it has a silvery gold shine to it, and this one has more of a bronzy shine to it. So this side that I'm doing right now is half a shade lighter gold than the Makeup Forever glitter, which is on the other side. So if you guys want to know again the color of the Makeup Forever glitter, it's number 11. And this one's the Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner in Midnight Cowboy. So while we wait for this to dry, we're going to go ahead and put on more of those individual lashes. I love starting in the middle, so I'm just going to start in the middle. Again, these are Halta lashes. Individual lashes, these are the double version. They have a triple version as well, which are like 3 times thicker. It's insane. Okay, that side is done. We're just gonna do one more long one here, and then I'll go into a medium. One more medium, and a short. All right, now we're gonna wait for this to dry. While we wait for that to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and let her kind of pose a little bit for you. And you guys can actually start seeing what the difference is between both sides. Keep in mind, the glue over here is still drying, so it's gonna look a little bit different from this eye until it fully dries. But she's just gonna be moving around. If you wanna take screenshots of this, go right ahead. If you'd like to post anything on your Instagram about this class, if you want to share your experience, we love to hear your feedback. We also love to know what are some requests for future classes. So if you guys do post about it on your Instagram pages, as long as your page is public, we'll be able to see it. If you hashtag Dress Your Face Live. You can also tag me and the model within the picture so that we can find your post and like it. We love liking posts and, basically showing that love back, because you guys show us so much love and, respect. And that's, hearts everywhere. So this is the least that we can do, is to, show you our appreciation as well. This is something that I love to do, and I also love to see your recreation. So if you guys want to use any of these techniques, also you can hashtag Dress Your Face Live so I can look at your techniques, make sure you're on point. And if you have any suggestions for future classes, write them down in your picture description so I can screenshot it, send it to my team, and add it to the class schedule. That's always a good thing. So now that I'm getting a little impatient with her stuff drying, I'm just gonna color over it. Just stamping over with the liquid. All right, go ahead and tell me, when I do this, does it feel wet on the eye? Does it feel cold?
I would wait a little bit. It's
Okay.
a little cold.
It's a little cold? So we will wait another minute. So in the meantime, if you guys have questions, go ahead and comment my latest post on Instagram, which is the one where I'm talking. Basically, it's just me talking. This one here. So go ahead and ask your questions on this post. I'm gonna scroll through and make sure you guys have them in so I can answer them for you. And I love that you guys answer each other's questions too, because that does make the class go really, really smoothly. I think some of you guys are asking a little bit more about other stuff too, not just cut crease, but a lot of things about other skin complexions and brides and bridesmaids and things like that. So I'll make sure I answer those too. All right, let's test you again. How's this?
I think we're ready.
We're ready? All right, I'm gonna touch it. Yeah, looking good. Go ahead and open. And look up. Yep, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Awesome, all right. Here's the grand unveiling. Wow, it really does look the same. Just the glitter, like this one here has a little bit more of a bronze tint, and this one has more of a white gold tint. But other than that, it looks exactly the same. And you still get a very shimmery effect just with 2 layers of the pen glitter versus 1 fat layer of the loose glitter. So model, you tell me, Do you feel a lot of glitter on this eye, or do you feel like it's pretty similar?
It feels pretty good. I think this one is a little heavier, like you said. But definitely, I mean, they feel the same.
It doesn't bother you,
No,
right?
not
like
at all.
That's awesome. So yeah, you can definitely tell your brides and your clients, you know, it's not gonna bother them. It's just gonna feel a little heavier, but it's not like the end of the world. So honestly, if they want a full sheet of glitter, you do have that choice between using either or. And I guess your tiebreaker would really be how much time do you have. Secondly, if somebody wants a little bit less glitter, then just do one thin layer of the pen glitter. Or if you're going to use a loose glitter and you don't have the liquid liner pen glitter, then in that case, mix more liquid and less glitter on this eye, but it may end up dripping, so just be very careful when you are using liquids with loose glitters. It's just a little bit less foolproof. I like to go 100% foolproof, so I typically just use this stuff. So at this point, we're gonna zoom out so you can see the whole look together, and you can screenshot her beautiful modeling. And again, if you want to find her on Instagram, go ahead and spell your Instagram name.
It's jaskiran.car.w, jaskiran.kaur.w.
Awesome. She is a professional model. She is based in Northern California and travels to LA often. So hopefully we get to see more of her. If you guys want us to collaborate on something else, please let us know.
Let her know.
Let me know, and I will let her know, and we can just get this going.
And it's my first time being Tamanified, and I love it.
Thanks. I'm so glad you made it. It was so last minute. I literally on Snapchat, I'm sure you guys remember, I was like, who wants to be my model? And then we got to talking, and I was like, okay, girl, let's do this. So at this point, I can excuse you. You can enjoy the rest of the studio while I am in the hot seat, and I'm going to answer some questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Super fun. Oh, here's your phone. And your water. All right. Go ahead and ask your last minute questions. I'm going to spend a few minutes to answer them. Oh, should I have not moved? I'll go ahead and raise me so that I can get in here. I apologize for my crazy makeup today. This was really for Instagram. And then I never cleaned it off. And I ended up working all day in my house, cleaning, organizing, and doing a million things. So I'm sure everything looks insane right now. All right, let's go ahead and start answering questions. We have the next 15 minutes. That's a good amount of time, all right. So I'm gonna scroll up to the beginning so I can answer some of those first. All right, Madi.shaw.nakvi is asking, I have oily skin, but in winters it gets really flaky and dry around the cheek area, and my foundation doesn't seem to be smooth. I've tried using a moisturizer before sleeping and before applying my foundation, but nothing seems to work. Please help. All right, so usually what I like to do when it comes to dry skin or flaky skin over oily skin is exfoliate. That's gonna be the best thing you can possibly do. The thing with moisturizers is that if you have a lot of dry, dead skin sitting right on the top of the surface and your normal skin is pretty oily, it's going to be like a roadblock. So whatever you're putting on as far as moisturizers and those kind of things, it doesn't actually saturate into your skin because of all that dead skin or dry skin kind of sitting on top of it and blocking it. So the best thing that you can do is actually exfoliate daily. There are daily exfoliators out there. Just do a search. One of my favorites is from Lancome Cosmetics. I just go to Macy's and pick it up. And that's one of the things. Oh no, you're in the UK, so I'm sure you can, I mean, Lancome's everywhere, so you'll be able to find that, and I'm sure there's other brands out there too that you can totally use, but exfoliators are definitely gonna be your best friend. Make sure you exfoliate every day, and it's gonna slowly get rid of all that dead skin, and then when you put your moisturizer on, it's actually gonna start working better. There are oily products out there that can help with that dryness too. But if you already have oily skin, I would stay away from some of that unless it's a dry oil. What is a dry oil? It's an oil that you can use on your skin, but it feels dry to the touch when your skin drinks it up. So it's not going to add oil in that way to your skin. It's not going to be greasy or sluffy. It's going to be a little bit more just on the hydrating side. So you could do a search for dry oils and see, what comes up. But you should be okay if you just start exfoliating and continue to moisturize to do that. And there is another product out there. I've had a couple clients that had pretty normal combination skin everywhere else, but then they'd have like one really dry patch. And then I throw on this product called Hourglass number 28 serum. It is an anti-age hydrating serum that you would use. It's a priming serum. It's actually a primer. But if there's let's say if I had a chunk of dryness right here, but everything else was totally fine and I normally have oily skin or something, I would only use that little thing right on the area that's super, super dry, and that area just literally drinks it up, and the makeup will go on a lot smoother afterwards. So that's something that you can try as well, but make sure you're also exfoliating. Okay. Let's see some other questions here. All right, Miss Kasmani is asking, how long would you say it's okay to keep makeup or for foundation and eye palettes, mascaras, etc.? So how long before they expire? If it's a liquid or cream product, they will expire within 2 years. It depends on the active ingredients as well, but I usually keep liquids and creams for up to 2 years, and that's it. Beyond that, you can kind of check it and see if anything has separated, if water has separated, or if there's oil on the top, and you can smell it and see if anything has changed, and then throw it out that way. And that's if you're keeping it under normal environmental, conditions. So if it stays in the sun, or if it's staying in the trunk of your car for several days, or whatever it is, then it's probably going to get spoiled a lot quicker. So keep it indoors, keep it away from direct sunlight, and it'll last a little bit longer. I know a lot of ladies that keep their lipsticks and their creams in their refrigerator, and it lasts a little bit longer that way too, but I still wouldn't keep it more than 2 years. As far as other products, mascara, for example. Mascara, it's about 3 to 6 months. I would say 3 months because it starts to dry up, and there's a lot of bacteria that can sit inside your mascara. And it's a dark, damp place, and that's where bacteria breeds more. So you don't want it to, and that's something that you're putting on your eyes. So you want to be a little bit more careful with mascara. So I would say about 3 to 6 months for mascara, maximum. That's literally pushing it. Everything else about 2 years or less. When it comes to powder products eyeshadow palettes and things like that, that's indefinite. You keep that until you start to notice that the product is getting hard. And when you see those hard areas that you can't seem to get the powder out, that's because of the oils from your eye brushes. When you're using your eye brushes and there's oil on your eyelid, it transfers to the brush, and that brush transfers that oil to the palette. And slowly, it condenses, and it creates this hard area of your powder. Even your face powder palettes or your face powder compacts, those can all be affected by oils from your own skin. So as soon as you see those oils, scrape that area off, and you can kind of, continue to use your palette. But if things get really bad, toss it out, go ahead and get a new one. But I usually don't throw away my palettes until that happens. And the cool thing is, as a makeup artist, we are taught to be hygienic and sanitary when it comes to certain things. So you're not going to be, for example, compacts, face compacts. You're not going to be I don't use that pad that it comes with. I don't use that pad and leave it on the powder compact. I don't think I have one here to show you, but basically, those round MAC ones. Let's say if I were to use the pad, I'm using it all over my face, the pad has now absorbed my oil, and I put the pad right back onto that compact. The oils of that pad is gonna seep into the compact, and it's gonna ruin my compact faster. So what you do is, that's why at MAC and Estee Lauder and all these companies, they have a separate compartment for you to put your pad in, so that it's separated from the actual powder, and it doesn't really contaminate it with your oils as much, unless you're constantly double dipping. So that's one of the tips that I have for you as far as like the powders are concerned. Let's answer some more questions here. Okay, Fauzia.makeup.passion. What are eye shapes that cut crease styles suit most, and what are the absolute no-nos for eye shapes when it comes to the cut crease? Okay, so, and she's also asking, please also tell how to get paying clients if you're not experienced enough. Okay, so first question was the eye shapes. I literally have done a cut crease on every single eye shape, every type of lid, whether it's hooded, whether it's a mono lid on an Asian girl, whether it's a downturned eye or small eyes. And you literally, like, the best thing about using the cut crease methods are that you can literally create a whole new eye look on your client. So let's say she has small eyes and she's asking for big doll eyes. You can make your cut crease bigger than the size of her eye so that all of a sudden everything looks bigger, and then just extend her wings so that her eye actually looks as big as the cut crease. We did a lot of that on her too, even though she already has big eyes. We did a lot of that extension with the eyeliner. Now look at my eyes. My eyes are relatively smaller. So what I did was I extended my cut crease out all the way out, and I added this line all the way out with my wing, and that makes my eye overall look bigger. So when I'm looking down, my eyes look bigger. So honestly, you can create a cut crease on any eye. If you guys need help figuring out how to do it on different eye shapes, I did a cut crease on a monolid model. If you have the all access pass, you can go back in, and it says eye makeup for monolid girls. It's a picture of an Asian girl. And basically I had an Asian model, and I showed how to do an everyday look and a dramatic look. And one of those looks did require a cut crease technique, and it ended up making her look like she had a lid, like a full-on crease and a lid. So it's really cool. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and add a class sometime in the upcoming weeks or months on how to do a cut crease on a hooded eye, so you guys have a better idea. Basically with the hooded eye, because there's a fold, you want to just do it like you want to feel where the bone is, the orbital bone, and that's where you want to draw your cut crease, not where the fold is. So you're going to ignore the hood altogether and literally create a whole new lid for them. So I like a challenge, so I would never say that there is an eye shape that you should not ever do a cut crease on. I would do a cut crease on anyone. I think the only one that it just doesn't look flattering is like a deep set eye. I don't think it looks very flattering on a deep set eye because they already have such a defined crease and such a deep look that on them a softer, more blended look does look better rather than a harsh cut crease. But it doesn't mean you can't do it. There's ways to get around it. So that's my answer. The other question that she had was how to get paying clients if you're not experienced enough. Honestly, advertise. It does pay to do free work. I worked for free for photo shoots for many, many years when I first started, just to gain experience, number one, and to have really cool pictures for my website. So I built my website, I put those amazing pictures up, I put some prices up, and all of a sudden people would contact me and see that I was legitimate because I had a website and I had real good images. So as long as you are portraying yourself as a professional and you can really do amazing work and show it in your pictures, you should have no problem getting clients. But if you're just not seeing that traffic come through to your website, try advertising on Google, Yahoo, Facebook. Those are some great search engines. A lot of people are on Facebook, and that would be a great way to advertise, especially in your area. You can literally choose where to advertise. Like, for example, when I was living in the Bay Area, for a year, I went through Google and I did Google AdSense, and it only would advertise to people who were in my area and searching for bridal makeup artists. So my name would kind of pop up and they'd click on it, and I saw more traffic to my website. When I stopped it because I started getting too much business because my social media was also growing at the time. So I realized I didn't have to do that anymore, but that would be a good way for you to get started. Oh, another thing that you can do is hook up with wedding planners and wedding photographers, and tell them that you would lower their rate or give them a percentage, or tell them that you love their work and maybe you want to work with them more, and tell them that if they have a bride on a budget, you'd be willing to work with their budget if they refer you. And then maybe you guys can work together more, and people who are already looking for their services, they can mention you to them and get you more work that way. So it does help to be friends with people in the wedding industry as well. Let's see some more questions here. A few more minutes. Shirok is asking, I'm a beginner, so I want to know what can be used instead of glitter on the cut crease eye looks. Is metallic eyeshadows fine? Absolutely. Before I even put the glitter on our model today, I loved how that metallic eyeshadow, it was a shiny eyeshadow, I loved how it looked. Glitter is just an optional thing. And I ask my brides, do you want me to use glitter on you or no? If they don't, then I'll go ahead and just use a shiny eyeshadow and call it a day. Some of them who are like, I want to try it, but I'm not into the whole thing, then in that case, I do the shiny eyeshadow all over, and then I only put a line of glitter right along the base, which is what I did today. So I had shiny eyeshadow everywhere else, and I only put a line of glitter right over my black eyeshadow. So those are some options that you can totally do. You can even do matte, complete matte. But you know how when I cleaned up on the easy side, where I spread the skin and I kind of chiseled out the cut crease with a shiny eyeshadow, it's harder to do that with a matte eyeshadow because the shine is what's gonna bounce the light away and hide the dark smudges underneath. If you're using a matte light eyeshadow, instead of doing the smudge cleaning with the eyeshadow, you would go in with a concealer brush and an eyeshadow base or a concealer type of deal and use that to kind of clean up that lower edge, and then put on your matte eyeshadow, and that will give you the same effect, but with the matte instead of the shiny. Okay, let's see what else. Caro Suarez 81. Do I have to use a gel eyeliner or is there an alternative? Great question. So for that hard side, the advanced side, you don't have to use a gel liner. The reason why I like to use a gel liner when I'm doing it that way is because it's more precise and I can get in and not really mess up as much. But you can absolutely use a pencil instead. Just make sure your pencil is really, really sharp and you're not letting it get too thick. Or you can use, you can't use a liquid because it's not gonna blend. It's gonna dry and flake, so don't use a liquid. It would basically just be pencil or gel. Okay. Glam by Shaima is asking, where would you place that the brown line, the dip down by MAC, if she had little room between her crease and her brow bone? If there's little room, you want to create that line right on the same spot. So right, like a hairline above the crease, so that when the eyes are open, you can still kind of see it. So you definitely don't want to do it any higher than that. The real change is going to be in the blending, that whole gradient from dark to light as you go up. That gradient is going to be a lot quicker. So you're going to switch from dark to medium to light a lot quicker and in a smaller section than on a larger eye like hers. So if you're working with a larger eye, you have more space to do that really wide gradient. If you have a shorter eye space, you're going to use a smaller measurement basically to do that gradient. That's going to be the biggest change. Oh yeah, a lot of you were talking about an echo, but a few of you said that if you log out and log back in again, it got fixed. So I'm glad you guys are helping each other out because there's no echo on our end. It's actually the same exact thing that we do on every week. So we are perfect, but it could be the internet connection or something, through all these, channels of getting to you. So all you have to do, if next time you ever hear an echo, log out and then log back in, and it should clear up any little issues. And if you still ever have issues about anything, I have an entire team of tech support always on, especially when we're live streaming. I have my team here kind of ready to troubleshoot and help you guys right away. So if there's any issues later on, like if you're watching this again, you know, the rerun or whatever, you can always email info@dressyourfacelive.com for any type of help, whether it's about your membership or whether it's about the streaming or anything that you have a question about when it comes to Dress Your Face Live. Those are the people to email. I have an entire team always on it, and they're really fast with their responses too. So they will always take care of you. I only have time for like one or two more questions. Let me see if there's anything that I haven't really answered. A lot of questions about different eye shapes, which I already answered. Let's talk about, okay, so here's a question that I'm seeing a few of you ask, and it's regarding like colors and things like that. Let me go ahead and refresh just to make sure I'm not like missing anything major here. Okay, perfect. So a couple of you were asking about how to choose the right color combination, and that's when we're going to end this class. When it comes to color combinations, I did kind of mention it while I was working on her. I usually like to go more brown with my cut crease and then add the black, because if you start off with black and then you're blending it, it starts to turn really gray and muddy. So I love to use a really rich brown first, and then if I want to add black, I can add that afterward like I did on her. As far as color combinations, I usually ask my clients, or depending on what I'm wearing too, if I'm doing it on myself, am I focusing my outfit on silver accents or gold accents, or neither? If I'm wearing more gold accents, I'll go ahead and add more of a champagne gold eyeshadow or gold glitter. If it's silver, I'll use more silver and champagne instead. You know, depending on if you don't want any metallic at all, stick with the matte colors. But I think the best way to kind of create a color combination is to realize that the contrast needs to be pretty high. So as long as your crease is dark enough, and as long as your lid is bright enough or light enough, it will show up beautifully on camera and, you know, for your pictures, the Instagram, all that stuff. If the color of your lid is too close to the color of your crease, not even that close, but if it's just not enough contrast, it's gonna look kind of blah, and it's gonna end up looking really blended and not sharp enough. So sometimes when someone wants to use like a bronze color, like a dark bronze color on their lid, but they want that dark brown or black cut crease, that's not different enough. Like, we need a lot more contrast for it to really show up. I'll still do it if that's what they really want, but it's not gonna show up as a sharp, amazing cut crease like the high contrast stuff is. So what I have on is like a matte off-white with the shimmer glitter underneath and a dark brown cut crease, and that has enough contrast where it shows. On her, we did a super shiny gold and a really dark chocolate brown black in her cut crease, so that's a high contrast as well. So stick with high contrast if you really want it to look dramatic. If you want it to look softer, then you can lower down the contrast and use other colors. Some people have used aquas, some people have used blues and things like that, and that's another option too. You can absolutely do that. Don't limit yourself, play around. A lot of it is trial and error. I learned that throughout the years. Certain colors I don't like, certain colors I do, and it's really a preference thing. So have fun, good luck. Tag me in your looks so I can see that you're doing well. You can hashtag Dress Your Face Live so we can find your pictures. Make sure you're not private. If you want me to see your stuff, you gotta be a public profile. And hashtag Dress Your Face Live, tag me in your photos so I can look and see what's going on and make sure you guys are doing well. And again, if you guys have any suggestions on future classes, let me know in my comments, let me know in your posts, when you're hashtagging and things like that. And I'd also love to hear your feedback about what you liked from class. If you are one of the few that did experience a little bit of an echo and you didn't think to log out or log in, or you didn't see my tech support respond to you, this class is recorded. All of our classes are always recorded, so you can watch them later once it's uploaded to the website over and over and over again until they expire. And we make sure they don't expire anytime soon, so you have at least a month or more to watch these classes and to get caught up before the next batch of classes come in. So I will see you next week for the next class. It's going to be super cool. It's another dramatic look, so I'm super excited for that. If you guys like more natural looks, I have a bunch on the homepage right now, so you guys can get started on those as well. So do your homework, be good, and I'll see you next time. Bye.